Hi everyone, I'm Sahil. A few years ago, I completed my undergrad and honors degree at UKZN, and I've recently come back this year to pursue my master's degree. Shortly after completing my honors degree, I was lucky enough to land my dream job at a company called Intellect. This was a job I visualized into existence, rehearsing every single possible scenario and practicing every single coding problem they could have given me before the interview. I remember the call a few days after the interview when Charmaine Cowley, a general manager at Intellect, called me to tell me that I'd gotten the job. My immediate reaction was to first ask her if she was being serious, legitimately confused as to how I managed to pull it off, after which, feeling a huge sense of relief and accomplishment and excitement. Upon joining Intellect, I was put into an intense graduate boot camp meant to teach us what a normal developer would learn in 2 years of development experience in just 2 months. Feelings of overwhelm and pressure quickly replaced the positive feelings I had previously felt. However, in this time, lessons that I had learned at university helped me to overcome the intense demands that a corporate environment placed on me. One of the fundamental things I now realize about my university experience is that it was a hero's journey of some sort. On the surface, a university degree can seem like a bunch of modules set up to teach you technical skills that can be implemented in real-world scenarios. And yes, it is important to learn the grounding principles of programming, because it is upon these principles, like the use of OOP, abstraction, memory management, etc., that we build programming solutions. However, above all else, your degree is about an evolution of your mindset. Starting off in my first year, after doing very well in the trick, I walked into UKZN with a lot of arrogance, feeling as if I didn't really need to study, and that a few hours of work before tests and exams would be enough to secure excellent marks. This illusion was quickly shattered when I failed the first Maths 130 test. However, what I learned through the pain of failure is that it is important to always be humble and show respect and seriousness to every task. Studying intensely the night before an exam is fine, but consistency beats intensity any day of the week when it comes to great achievements. Putting a little bit of work into something every single day compounds itself into massive returns in the long run. Moving on to my second year, which is where I felt university really became what it was built up to be, I realized that a lot of the immature habits I had built up, like texting with friends all night and spending long hours gaming, needed to be discarded if I wanted to perform to what I knew I was capable of. Ultimately, learning the value and importance of sacrificing immediate pleasure for long-term success and fulfillment. Then came third year. This is where the first principles of programming that we learn in our first and second year actually get implemented into building larger scale applications using programming frameworks like Spring and .NET. This is also the time that we start with group projects, and in some cases, figure out why Batman prefers to work alone. By working on group projects, one thing that I learned is that not everyone shares your mentality, focus, or vision, and that to galvanize your team to help manifest your desires, you have to figure out what motivates individuals and need to show a large amount of respect and patience towards the people that you're working with. People often try to achieve great things by themselves, mainly because of the size of their ego, or their level of insecurity, or simply because they lack the temperament to work with others. But unfortunately, one person working alone is not enough to achieve greatness. Moving on to my honors year, I found myself dealing with a workload that really tested my internal fortitude. It is through challenging times like these where you figure out how to properly tackle problems by breaking them up into smaller pieces and attacking each piece. It is also through successfully completing tasks that seem impossible that you build a reputation within yourself that gives you the confidence to step out of your comfort zone in the real world, and an understanding that if you simply double down on your efforts when things seem to be going nowhere, eventually the solution will find itself. Honors is also the first year that you're expected to do a research project. Now, in the time I've spent in industry, the most important thing that I've learned as a developer is that the programming languages and frameworks we learn in university are simply tools to help solve real-world business problems. When solving these business problems, a certain portion of your time goes into using these languages and frameworks to build the solution. However, before the implementation, a large amount of time and energy goes into the actual design of the solution. It is here that we ask questions like, what are the business problems that we are trying to solve? Who are our competitors? What do they do that we can enhance or copy? How can we model the flow of a user through our system before we build it? What are the best programming technologies and frameworks to use for our particular solution? What do our databases need to look like? Can we set up timelines for features of our project? Designing a solution has a far greater impact on the overall project than the actual implementation. In fact, a common rule used to express the importance of the design phase is the Pareto principle, where 20% of the effort gives you 80% of the results, and 80% of the effort gives you 20% of the results. Now, tying this back to a postgraduate degree, what we learn here are the skills of articulating a certain problem we are trying to solve, then conducting research into work done previously that relates to the problem, constructing a methodology to solve the problem, and then finally implementing a solution. Having the skills to do this makes a graduate an invaluable asset to any company and allows you to have the options to navigate your career in any way you see fit. To summarize, completing your university degree and furthering your studies isn't about the certificate that you get at the end of it, but instead about the person you develop into in the process. It is about becoming a highly critical and creative thinker, being able to intelligently jumpstart a project and guide it to perfection. Your degree is also an opportunity to discover your strengths and weaknesses as a future leader. Learn to accept failures and fail without massive consequences. Understand the value of teamwork. And ultimately, be armed with the tools to help you deal with the challenges of life. Because in a world where the sum of human knowledge doubles every year, the only thing we can truly have faith in is our ability to adapt. Thank you very much.